What up, everybody? Feels like it's been a while. Been a couple
Oh,
weeks.
missed a
Little
week.
Thanksgiving week, and everything going on there. Uh, Welcome to our live stream show, frequency control show. Sorry, still haven't got this name down since we
Hey, if,
changed it.
if you watch a couple of these, you'd be able to see that it actually says that on the label. But I know I'm the only one watching these bitches. Me
So
and my
yeah, I have a
kids.
hard time watching me back.
Yeah.
I have a hard time, like, oh God, just silly. But anyways,
Just press
this
the
is our
like button at least. Hey, if you press the like button, then YouTube will actually recommend it to other people. If nobody likes it, it won't even get recommended.
I'm gonna start doing. Have you moved him over yet to its own
No, not
place?
not yet, but I can shift them as soon as whatever happens. But nobody's even looking at them or liking them, so I'm like, what the fuck's the point? So I can't even get Birdo on this bitch.
Have you? Did we be talking before we be starting the show? I forgot to ask about all that.
Yeah,
What's
I don't.
going on there?
Maybe he's just over it, but or he. I know he's working his ass off to get freed up to come down here and hammer out his music and shit. But yeah, I
Nice.
sent him the invite, but he's not here. So
So today we're talking. We was talking to Robert earlier. I was talking to Robert before we got on here, just about distractions, and I feel like nowadays, you have to be a certain level of being awake and a certain level of strength to be able to watch the news right now, or you just get sent down a whirlwind of negativity and thinking negatively and having a bad attitude. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's a underlying signal that they're sending out during these news broadcasts or something. Because I was affected about from it a while ago. I think I'll actually be talking about in the last podcast. So, but then I also, because everything going on, I don't want. I want to um, stay as current as possible and know what's coming. So I decided to kind of tune into it, and I kind of was, it was kind of comedic. It was not that what's going on is funny, but being on the other side of not being programmed by what they're saying actually opened my eyes to be able to watch the differences in the two major ones. I'm speaking of CNN and Fox. The more local ones actually talk about other news besides just Trump and Biden and the virus, which are important. Don't get me wrong, especially the virus. But with that being said, so now I'm watching. I feel from a strength of power and being able to watch it more objectively and not let it affect me by what they're saying, right? But then I started, finally, I was able to pay attention to what I did after I was done watching. And I noticed that because I watched, it kind of put me in a state of, you know, there's some fear there, you know what I mean? I feel like I need to maybe move. I got a storage unit, need to move my stuff. I need to build my relationship with God, because God is coming possibly because of just the chain of events. You never know, right? No one knows for sure. Um, but I think it's a good time to, raise my spiritual awareness as well with everything going on. And so, but I noticed that after watching the news and watching from a place where I think it would okay for me to watch the news because I'd be less tainted, I noticed that I was focusing more on what I should do from what's coming from these people and not focusing on what I'm trying to do to succeed still in the life that I'm currently in. Robert put it a very good, we'll get to that. I want to keep going here. Not continuing down my path of success, being able to work from home and, and the things I'm doing, the books I'm writing, and finishing this audiobook and things I'm trying to do. I noticed I wasn't taking the correct actions to follow in my life, and I was more changing my life towards what these guys are reporting news about. And luckily, I was able to notice what I was doing and snap out of it and go back to focusing on what I want to accomplish for myself, successful wise, for work and financial wise, working for myself, which would be great right now if things are going to get chaotic, or even if another lockdown and they need to be at home, still financially be able to survive and make it through. So it's just really important that even though I was watching the news from the strength of power, it still affected me on not concentrating on my momentum cycle of success and defending on and just concentrating on the just the fear of what they're putting out was dictating more what I do than my aspirations right now, and that's not acceptable. So I just really wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit, just maybe you're going through the same thing and you'll be like, you know what, you're right. I am going down. Now, it's nothing wrong with being prepared. I actually been fasting and raising my health and my connection with God. I have some questions that I need to answer from God right now, and I feel like I'm searching for those answers in other places and not from God Himself. So I figure I need to raise my spiritual awareness, and I know what fasting does for that connection and getting questions answered. So I was building on that, which I do think is a good thing, period. That needs to be done, but not to the point, oh, that's what Robert was getting on, that God is everything. So eventually you'd still be touching on those things with this knowledge that we've been doing these podcasts and spreading these podcasts about. That actually makes me feel a lot better as well after talking to you about that. But just being aware of your distractions and not even if you are strong enough to watch the news right now, pay attention to what you do after watching and make sure those after effects aren't keeping you from succeeding. As if things will get back to normal, or some sort of normality that we can still be living and make money for ourselves. To be honest, be very mindful, especially of the news. I want to break this down too. So you like CNN and Fox. I'd never even really noticed it before I'm at the status of not being woke up enough to not be programmed by what they're saying. See, all CNN is reporting about is Trump needs to concede, and the spike in corona cases, and the stress of wearing the mask and being safe and social distancing. And then you watch Fox, and Fox is talking about the effects of the Biden administration, the Biden and Obama administration, and how getting this vaccine is unnecessary. The amount of social distancing is unnecessary, and a complete different spectrum on what they're saying on CNN is just a huge. Maybe everyone else already noticed it, and maybe I'm late. But I've finally really was able to see that you can't watch any of it except for just trying to be mindful of what's coming. That's the biggest thing. But still not letting it affect you moving forward, because there's places that aren't conforming to what's going on levels I didn't realize, which is interesting as well. But it's an interesting time. And it's easy to get tainted. because there are serious things going on. So it's easy to get tainted, and you even have to be careful of who you talk to about it, because a lot of people are very opinionated right now, and you start talking about certain subjects that people don't agree on, and I'm finding myself in conflicting conversations, and it's just you just have to be very just careful of what you're letting soak in, how much of it you are allowing yourself to soak into your system and affect your daily habits and proceeding with life. On that part.
Yeah, so it's like for me, it's I don't even. I mean, maybe I'm misinformed or not misinformed. I'm ill-informed or sorry, not informed at all because I don't watch the fucking news. So for me, a lot of stuff's news to me. You know, when somebody says, "Dad, you haven't heard," blah blah blah, I almost let like all these people filter the information before it gets to me, and then I ask a couple questions and realize they don't know shit either. But you know, my wife watches the news, and like for me, it's angst, it's stress, it's everything's negativity, and sure, maybe it's truth and they're spitting facts, but at some point, man, it's like the way it's delivered, it can really sidetrack you from maybe your goals. And so if you're trying to use this information to achieve something grander than what is the norm, you know, most people's norm is, hey, you know, what you can do is get a job and do good, move up through the ranks, and then when you're done, you go home, you mow your lawn, kiss the kids, you feed the family, and you go to bed. And that's cool. And that's where you factor into life, and that's what it is. But there's some of us that are trying to go and break the barrier and do something maybe a little bit larger to us, and that's your goals of whatever you need to accomplish. But then when you're trying to accomplish those goals and you're trying to focus on your mind to break through that, because there's going to be a lot of naysayers, there's a lot of barriers you got to be able to break and mentally get through. And then so you're focused on the information that we talk about here on this podcast show. It encompasses all types. Uh, and then you watch the news and watch it crumble it down and really divert you into their agenda, and then you miss the point of what you're trying to achieve. And so for me, I don't watch any of it because I've got a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of foundational things I'm trying to put in place so that I then can beat the drum and start maintaining them and start the slow build. But right now it's that I'm building the big foundation. So like anything sidetracking me is not going to work, because right now I work for myself and my own business, and then on top of doing my own business, it's got to thrive for me to achieve what I'm trying to do in a one income household, and then you know do other things that I want to do to live the ideal life I'm trying to live. And anything else is going to sidetrack me from that. You know, I spent 16 hours just hammering down on what I got going on today. The same thing Will's talking about, you know, fasting, you know, and the same thing with me. I fast till 12 o'clock, you know what I mean? And then I don't eat after 6. I've only lost 10 pounds. Sure, I'm overweight, but you know, on the path of where I'm going right now, you know, that's kind of the concept of, you know, I lack uh, exercise, you know, like because, you know, COVID, I mean, it kind of pulls you in, not a lot of outside gathering. And I sure as fuck ain't running with a mask on. You know, trying to breathe, and I got like all this carbon dioxide going back into my shit. Not happening. But and that's still an excuse. But either way, it's like from being focused on what you're trying to achieve you start watching the other shit where they have their own agenda to steer you in and stunt what you're trying to do and keep you. And it's a little conspiracy to me, but I believe it to where the more scared you are, the less you're gonna want to break out of your shell and go be and do something bigger and really have a say in things. And what I mean by being bigger is by having more of you're trying to achieve, if that's financial or whatever, you find yourself having a little leverage against what they're trying to achieve. You know, if everybody stays at a certain thing and they stay just down at the bottom and you're okay with that as a sheep to stay down there, that's the easiest thing. So if they can put out stuff that scares the shit out of you, I watched Will, I talked to him, he's about to fucking leave the country kind of thing, you know, and that is from a conversation a week prior to like I'm about to achieve some major shit. I got these things going on. I'm about to start making good bread. Well, in that sense, he was, you know, nipping at the heels of doing something bigger to where he'd have more leverage, more say in what happens in his community, and ultimately what would happen on a grander scale, and really start leveraging what he felt was the ideal community. You know what I mean? To all of a sudden retreating all the way and taking away all that leverage you can make up by achieving the things you're trying to achieve right now. Right now, we're trying to achieve something on a grander scale. When you do things on a grander scale, you have more leverage, you have more say. You now have a voice. By staying where they're keeping you, you no longer have a voice in what those things are. You're now just that person who's got your yellow fucking patch and you're going into work and they're checking on you, making sure you got the virus and or you've been checked for the virus or you've got the vaccine, whatever. And that's about as far as you go. You know, it's like so it's watching the news. It's like there's a slippery slope. There's one portion of being informed on what's happening and what's going on and staying in tune to, you know, ear to the streets and got your finger on the pulse kind of thing. And then there's another of you're watching it and you're getting steered in a direction that's away from what you're trying to do. And a lot of that is because you're now not managing your mind and your emotions. You're now letting them emotionally impact you, which eventually generates thoughts in the mind. And now you don't even have control of your own mind. And a lot of this information is really having control of your mind. I've been listening to a lot of David Goggins, right? And he's a Navy SEAL. And 8 weekends straight, he ran 100 miles every weekend, like in one of these competitions. If you could imagine running 100 miles, 24 hours. Okay, like every weekend he did
Wow.
that with running on broken legs. You know, literally had to duct tape his legs together and ran 100 miles on that shit. You know, so you think about these things, and he talks about like taking charge of your mind because really, you know, I always noticed this when I worked out. I used to work out like a madman, and when I'd be bench pressing, I knew when my mind said, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. My body could physically not lift the fucking weights one more time. But if I told myself in my mind, fuck that, I'm gonna lift this again and I'm gonna do 3 more reps, I would probably be able to get 2 more reps out at least. Whereas if my mind said no, like it wasn't happening. So your mind's a huge thing, and if you start watching things that are very powerful and well done, they can very much steer you off of what you're trying to do. And right now, with this kind of information, you're trying to gain charge of your mind and your body and your soul and ultimately be able to do bigger things, you know. I mean, it takes a lot. For me, I'm a drinker. I mean, I'm just going to be open and honest with everybody. Like, I like to drink, but I understand that that doesn't help me in what I'm trying to do. So what do? You know, I know, hey, hey, I'm doing all these great things this morning, and I'm like, fuck yeah, man. You know, I work for myself. I'm at home. I don't got nowhere to be today. I've done my work. Fuck it, let me have a Bloody Mary. And I said, no, as much as that is, that's not what I'm trying to do. So I say no, fuck that. I'm gonna fucking I got shit to do. And so that's me, you know, taking charge of my mind and my body and saying no, I'm not doing that. That doesn't. harmonize with what I'm trying to achieve. And doing that, you have a couple drinks and the next thing it'll go to shit. You think about it. I was watching Joe Rogan and Post Malone's podcast while I was editing this website I'm building, and I'm like, well, part of it they talk about how great he was writing some of those stories, but some of those stories he doesn't remember writing. Like, what was it, Cujo? He doesn't remember writing it because he was so fucked up on coke and chain smoking and getting drunk the whole time he's writing this book. He doesn't remember it was one of the best books ever, and he wrote half of Carrie all fucked up like that. And for me, I just understand that at some point, doing that stuff is like riding a wakeboard. It's really cool, and you can do some cool shit while you're wakeboarding, but once you fucking fall off that bitch, you're eating shit real hard, and then it's over, and then now it's like, say I started drinking at 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it's a wrap for me. Now I'm like, woo! And then I'm like, yeah, I'm tired. Fuck bedtime. And I still need 6, 7 more hours to hammer down, on what I'm trying to achieve. And, but same thing with drinking. And what I'm trying to do is the analogy from drinking is your need to be in tune with what's happening out there because it is uncertain times. I understand that. I know I fucking work for myself because my company, I got handed my final check. Hey, you're fired or you're laid off, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You don't have a job, and here's your final check. And good luck after a certain period of time of the insurance you paid out of your pocket for 30 fucking some odd years. You're going to be on your own to feed your family, and figure that shit out, Mind you, your wife can't go to work, and you probably barely can go to work because you got to stay home and watch your kids and fucking homeschool them right now. Yet still your bills are due, right? And for me, it's like drinking is the same thing as sidetracking as people's need to be in tune with what's going on right now because it is so uncertain. And your need is like my need for a drink. I'd like to have a drink. I enjoy it, yay. But going and doing it, you have to do like I did with my drink. I said no because I need to stay focused on what needs to happen today. And if I watch that news, they do such a good job at delivering whatever it is they're fucking trying to tell you. And why it's not 100%, it's bias, okay? You watch CNN and you're going to get Biden. You watch Fox and you're going to get Trump. And it's going to be one way. It's not the same news. And it's a biased news. So you're going to get pulled one way or another. The bottom line is you're watching the stuff to stay in tune, but they're just telling you what they need to tell you. It's what they need to tell you. It's not what you need to know. It's what they need to tell you. And fuck, it might be information you really fucking did it add value to your life? Then right on. But were you able to stay on task with what you need to do? Some people can watch that negative shit all day and just keep cracking on their company emails and just go and fucking hoorah to you. But I ask you this one question: how much more could you achieve had you not been sidetracked with that half-ass shit? And for me, it's the same analogy from the drink. Not drinking and staying on task, or watching that and have it steer you into the fear mode. I know my wife, as soon as she starts watching this, oh my God, the tectonic plate's going to snap and I guess it's going to flood all the way past the 5-door house. Do we have these things in place, the walkie-talkies and yeah, blah, 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 and a boat? Like, no, we don't have a boat. Like, can you swim? But at the same time, it's that's the thing is she starts watching that and everything she wanted to do today now is all about prepping for this fucking thing that hasn't happened for 400 fucking years. And she's getting prepped for it, and it's taking her away from what she's trying to do. She's got her own salon now. She's doing her own shit, but she got a lot of things to be focused on. Watching the news really fucking can steer you away from it. Or it's not even the news, it's whatever sidetracks you. And that's why we call this distractions. And for me, a distraction is alcohol. For me, I've known that for 15 years that most of the time when I'm working in the studio, I don't have it in here because it just shortens your day. You know, you think you feel good, you're vibing on this new song you made, and you start drinking, and hey, an hour later, you can't even make any more music. You're just vibing, and it's over. So it's the same thing with a lot of people and whatever else you do. News can be one of those things that'll get you stupid in the mind and completely distract you from what you're doing. It could be news, it could be alcohol, it could be a girlfriend, a boyfriend, um, whatever that is. Those things are all distractions, and when you're trying to stay focused on a goal, a lot of the stuff you want this information, but a lot of people want to use this information to help them forge through the shit to get further in life. Because if you have no plans of being further in life, you probably don't give a fuck about the law of attraction or any of this information is kind of irrelevant to you because to do the same thing everybody else is doing, you probably don't need this information. So this is for people trying to do bigger things. So being distracted can throw you off of what you're square and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, so that's a good point. It's not just for me lately. For me, it's the news, but it's not just the news. It's whatever it is that distracts you. It's a good thing to recognize it, and uh, it's a good thing to recognize it. That is a distraction. I was able to I'm just see again. I am thankful for this information. I even I went and I printed off my daily takeoff checklist, and I really started getting back down on making sure I have an awesome day, because I I want to be in a place of strength and a place of courage and faith for what's coming, and not feeling like I have to run, because of what I'm watching. And it's what did you say? Um, how it affects you. Oh man. Just how scary it is, and they are very
Angst
tricky.
and
The man.
anxiety.
Yeah. Um, I was thinking maybe I need to move clear across the country. But really, if it really does get crazy, there's really nowhere safe to go. And I'm just like, the first thing I thought in my head is chaos happened to my little girl asking, where's her dad? And I'm so scared because of what I watched on the news. I moved up and left. Now with the intentions to build, to have a safe place for my daughter, and possibly if push her and her mom, if need be, to have a safe place to go to if there was some chaos. But to do that 2.5 hours away at home compared to clear across I was looking at jobs in Florida. You know what I mean? Like, a big Republican state, but I was just all the water and, thinking I needed to get a boat, but maybe I needed a boat, I need to live in the water, but I got to get gas, but see, this is all the stuff I'm thinking of instead of I need to be writing more of this stuff, you know, uh, finishing this, finishing this audio book, which thank God, I was able to pay attention to how I was tweaking out there for a minute, and I was able to buckle down and finish the first version of that. Is so dope. But that's good. There's some exciting times coming. But see, that's what excites me. This is the state I want to be in, not in the state of panic and worry. Not that everybody is, but that's how I get affected by it. Because I need to work on my strength, and because technically there isn't anything to worry about. Even if God is coming, there isn't anything to worry about. You shouldn't have any fear. You shouldn't have any fear to go to church and wear a mask, because God's not going to let anything happen to you. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. So just like my fear is just the fear I'm having is just how much I need to work on my spiritual awareness because I shouldn't have any fear. So it is important, Then of course they want to shut down the churches so people can't gather, and it's all craziness. So it's anything that distracts you to keeping from doing bigger things because we are doing big things, and I'm hoping we will be able to use these things down the road. Oh man, to be honest, and who knows what's coming, but not to give up. Don't running? I felt like I was a coward when now's the time to show courage and strength and faith and be the backbone for your children and your family and stuff and standing up for your rights and what's right. That's what needs to be happening, not running, thinking somewhere else I'd be safer, even with the intent to create a safe home for my child if chaos happened, but not clear across the country. This is what watch. So here I am, and literally, I watched the news, but I watched the news I was looking for business ideas, and I really started narrowing in on some stuff I was already thinking about wanting to get into and concentrating on it. I even start watching the news differently, getting ideas of what's coming, and boy, what could the people use at a time like this? What could be a positive thing that people can get together at and be able to speak about what they want to talk about and not be censored. Do it in a way that has never been done before and would just be super cool to look at and participate in. Luckily that was like today, but just making sure that I'm watching this stuff objectively in a positive way and not in a way where it keeps me from doing what I need to do. And you should be doing this as well, whatever it is, whatever that is. Like Robert said, girlfriend, work, friends,
family. People got to understand family too. Like some people want to spend so much family time when remember your kids get tired of you after a couple hours. They're not like how many times did you want to just really hang out with your mom and dad? You have to understand like it's family is madly important. But you got to understand you give your kids a couple good hours a day and they're going to be happier and shit and probably tired of you and they're trying to do kid stuff. They're not trying to hang out with boring ass mom and dad. So and you can't take them to Disneyland every day. So it could be family too, I mean, and your wife or husband, they're gonna be tired of you after 4 seconds, So spend your quality time with your family, but for that to be excuses to why you're distracted and can't do anything is unacceptable, So there's a lot of distractions and another distraction, regular fucking TV, Netflix, your favorite fucking show. You know how many shows I want to watch on the internet, but I'm like, you know what? That shit ain't happening. Although I do see a lot of TV because I do my side business, which requires me to be on the like working out of my laptop, and then I also have my other businesses I'm working on, which is right now requiring me to be on my laptop. So in the background, I've got all types of shows playing. So I've kind of seen a lot of these shows while I'm doing it. But if I did,
I'm on the opposite side. I'm on the opposite side of that one because and I'm having a hard time with it because of this virus. It's keeping me from my child, keeping me from being able to instill in her and keep her from being programmed. And me talking to her about it has caused some more stress in our relationship because she's agreeing on one thing and I'm trying to wake her up and just take a look at some other things, and she's not wanting to hear it because she's watching the fucking news, and it's got her freaked out. Now she doesn't want to see her dad, and now's the most important time for her to be around her dad, so I can instill in her some other views and other way to look at things, so she can still become the strong woman she needs to be. And that's extremely challenging for me to accept right now. And I really don't have a choice because she's really worried about this virus, as possibly maybe we all should be, depending on what you believe in. But but at the same time, I do work in a public place and around people. And like I was telling Robert earlier, I feel like it's good to be as safe as possible, because these people and their agenda, I don't trust anything that they do. So I have to be safe. And like Robert said, just being a normal human being, you should wear a mask and respect other people during this time, and not be causing stress and situations that could be getting out of hand as things get tighter with what's going down. Just being a decent human being and being safe. But the fact that I can't see my daughter right now because of it, and she really needs her dad to keep her from being programmed. And she's told me what she's been being taught, what's been taught around her, and she needs the information from her dad, and I can't even really give it to her. And texting doesn't work, you know. Calling is better, but I need to be able to hug her and tell her I love her in person, and I can't do that, and that's really tough. I see these signs, you driving to work, and this is on the freeway signs, stay safe and mask up, and it's like, thank God I'm in the state I am to read that and be able to be like, look at, and now guess what's coming out of everyone's mouth, including my own. This is what it takes to be safe. Auto suggestions, just being implanted when you're driving down the freeway. Mask up, stay safe, and stay away from your family members during the holidays, because that's what safe is nowadays.
You can go to Walmart. Yeah, you can go to Walmart, and the droves of thousands and thousands of people to check out the newest electronic video game, to go Christmas shopping, and touch all the controllers and play the demo game on the controller, not wipe down. And the little Jimmy comes behind you with COVID, touches it, and then Sarah, the little girl, touches it before Daddy's like, "Come on, Sarah, we got to go look at some socks for you." And then Sarah goes and touches that, and little Johnny goes and touches the fucking Lego kit, puts it back because Mom says, "You're not getting that till Christmas if Santa gets it for you." And now everybody's touching that, and somebody touches the bag of Triscuits. And then next thing you know, everybody's touching the stuff on the way out on the checkout. And you all can do that, but we can't have 6 people in a family. That shit is fucking ass backwards to me, because I guarantee those electronics and the TVs and the video games are not essential.
Oh, and you can't go to church either and grow spiritually and worship God. I mean, you can, but I'm saying they're really pushing to stop these gatherings. Oh, jeez.
And my thing is just the contradictory
I need to
part.
stick to the
I
podcast.
think we should
stuff.
I think we should do the social piece. But why is it that Walmart's electronics section is essential? Why is it that their dog collar section is essential? Why is it that they're, like, I don't understand that. Why is it that Home Depot is essential? Why is it that Lowe's is essential? Is it essential to get new carpet? Is it essential to get a new washer and dryer? Is it essential to go in the toilet section? I mean, unless your toilet's broken, like there's these essential pieces that are like Really, you need to paint right now? Like, tell me what part of paint is fucking essential. Nothing. Does it save you? Does it matter if it's painted right now? No. But you can't hang out 7 people to a family for your holiday. 7 people in your own personal family. So for me, it just there's a contradictory piece. Do I agree? Social distance and let's try to get this shit out of here. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. However, there's some contradictory shit. Like I can go into Home Depot, I can go into Lowe's and Krispy Kreme and fucking Costco and Walmart and Winco and all these other fucking places in droves, touching everything with my hands. And then I didn't want the Chex Mix, so I put it back with my COVID. And then little Sarah came through and touched the Chex Mix and said, Mom, can I get this Chex Mix right here? No, put it down. I told you to stop touching it. Come here and stand on this cart. So she goes and puts it down. Little Johnny comes by. He touches it. Mom, can I have this? Sure. They take it home with them. They don't wipe it down. He's in there and reaching with his hands after he touched the box and pulling out Chex Mix to eat it individually into his mouth, ingesting it. He gets COVID. Yet we can't hang out as a family of 7. These are these certain things that just fucking absolutely throw me off. That's all I'm saying is it's like why the electronic sections of these places, the paint sections, like it's like these places like Chex Mix is fucking essential food. Like I don't know. For me, it's just there's certain things that if you're gonna do it, why are these certain people getting away with doing? You can't have church, but you can have fucking thousands of people going to Walmart. So it
All these people, I am astounded by this line of
and hold
McDonald's.
on, and you can't go camping. Like a lot of these things, like the camping restricted. Like, hey, stop running outdoors. Even me by my motherfucking lonely running on a trail. Like, are you shitting me? But I could walk in with 17 fucking people into Walmart. Like that shit just like for me is I just don't understand the logic behind it. And so it almost makes me feel like the rules are a little bit wrong. Because it makes me go, well, what basis did you base all your fucking logic off of? And so, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I just saying it needs some explaining.
Absolutely.
Before you tell me I can't hang
Absolutely.
out with my family, for the holiday, you know. And you know what's funny is I'm kind of glad I didn't, because this holiday I didn't spend time with my wife's family. And guess what? One of the people there got COVID. And he goes, the only people I've been around was my mom's house where all the family went. And so like the whole family went to that one house, and my family was the only family that didn't show this one year. And so he's like, that's the only people I was around. So he's just like, and he was on vacation, so the only people he kicked it with was that one household. He goes, so I had to get it there or somewhere else. And we weren't there, but so I guess it can happen at families. But I mean, he went shopping for food, you know, walking all through Winco, touching the fucking toilet paper and the Ziploc bags and the fucking spatulas and all this unnecessary shit. Not that shitter's not fucking paper's not necessary. Grabbing the cucumber, looking at it, going, that's quite a big cucumber. Put it down. Little Jerry goes and grabs it. Oh, Dad, I want a cucumber. Let's make a pickle. You know, I mean, that shit is just like insanity to me. Grabbing the apple, feeling the avocados and going, is that bruised? No. Hey, is this one bruised? No. Wait. No, grabbing the right avocado. If you've ever bought an avocado, people feel them for bruising. And they grab maybe 10 of them bitches and say, nah, they're all 10. Every time. It's minimum of 10 before they settle on one that works with their bare fucking hands. And before COVID, people were digging up in their ass cheek because they didn't wipe their butthole correctly because they have one ply at home, and then they're fucking digging in their asshole and they grab a couple avocados, and then you go over there next, grabbing the avocado, and then you itch your mouth and maybe pick that thing out of your tooth. Meanwhile, you got Jim Bob, but you don't even know his fucking butthole juice and his fucking turd fecal matter in your mouth, and you don't even know it. So my thing is like all these things that are non-essential that like avocados aren't essential. You know what I mean? Like are they really like you have to have the avocados or we won't survive as a race. You know, so for me, I just kind of go. We let everybody in these Wincos and these fucking these places, and it's like, but you can't have six people to a family together. That's just for me. It just throws me off. It doesn't add up. You know, that's my rant for that shit. But because they were like talking all this shit, like, hey, if you feel like you see families over a certain size, call in and call on them motherfuckers, and the cops are gonna go to fucking serve some justice. They were saying that shit. Like, if you see a family and they look like they got like 4 or 5 cars out there, they're clearly gathering too heavy. Call the fucking cops, you know, like, what the fuck? But we can go in fucking 60 deep in a fucking Winco and it's all good. You know, that shit is crazy to me, you know? It just doesn't make sense. It makes sense, like, hey, man, let's limit some gatherings. Hey, mom and dad, let's not have all of us together this year. Let's try to, like, limit some of this stuff and let this thing pass. And I get that. Yet, the biggest culprits are allowed to stay open. The biggest, heaviest culprits. I was delivering coffee at one point into this taco time. I go inside there. These motherfuckers ain't got masks on. This is during COVID. And they're fucking stirring your beans and all your shit. And they're gonna be handing that shit out to you. In your mouth, you're gonna be eating that stuff.
Just talking about
Like, what
this
the fuck?
goddamn line. I can't. I'm just astonished, and you can't even see these people making your food, and this line is out in the street. You know, like what the fuck? I just, I'm not that that means anything. I'm just saying, like, don't let, don't get tainted by all of that. That it keeps you from doing big things.
Yeah, that way to stay on it, actually. Yeah, that's the
I
bottom line
think
is.
it's good to prepare. It's good to prepare. I feel it's good to try prepare and be safe. But don't let it consume your entire world, man. Now is the time of opportunity. I fully believe 100%. Now's the time of opportunity to achieve your dreams
And you know,
and goals
I will
and
kind of
aspirations.
throw it off a little bit too. It's like I've been in this weird place where I'm like, I don't know what is it gonna be fucking fun. I'm looking over here to my right, and it's fucking this board just full of all these goals and action items and dreams and every fucking thing on the earth, right? And it's executing like a fucking champ for the last 6 months. I've been hammering, dude, and I haven't wandered a day. And it's like I can't see it all the way. I can't see exactly this is, and I'm visualizing. I just got a Lamborghini book. I just got these cards, the affirmation cards, positive affirmation cards. They're just this big, thick thing, and every day it's got a little fucking unicorn with a rainbow on it. But hey, whatever it takes to keep me in my mindset. I've got my books. I got all my positivity bullshit, and it's like, but trying to envision what that looks like, and like Will told me years ago, because it's been years now. You don't know how. You are not smart enough to know fucking how. You're not gonna know how. You just keep pushing that way. And again, the distractions are gonna stop you from you keeping on beating the drum and pushing the way you need to go. But I know that if I keep pushing this way, things will start opening up, and I can't see what those will be. But I got to keep putting these things in place, whatever I can do. Is there more to do and you know what to do next? Cool. All you need to know is not how it works out, but what to do next, right? What is your next logical step, and just do that. even if you can't see how that fucking quite ends up at where you're dreaming to be, just keep going forward with whatever it is you're doing. And for me, I'm like, okay, well, I have this next thing. I'll just put it in place, and I just don't know. And it's opening up to me. The more I do it, the more I'm visualizing, the more I go, I know how it feels, smells, and all that shit. But for me, it's kind of like, you don't know. You don't know what it looks like. And so I've started reverse engineering other majorly fucking famous, not famous, I shouldn't say famous, but successful people, reverse engineering what they did. And at that time and snapshot in time, they could have never known that they, so our first trillionaire is Jeff Bezos from Amazon, okay? Trillionaire. It means he has $1 billion 1,000 times over. 1,000 billions. So not a billion, which is 1,000 millions. 1,000 billions. I mean, a trillionaire. That is amazing. So the richest man ever to fucking do it. And he started out of his fucking garage selling used books. And he started Amazon.com. He could not have fucking fathomed at $30,000 in his bank $1 trillion, right? He couldn't have seen that. And so I started reverse engineering everybody who was madly fucking rich. Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, could not have imagined that Facebook would turn into one of the biggest fucking platforms in the world. They own Instagram. And he'd be worth billions and billions of dollars. He could not have seen that from his college. He's like, I'm just gonna make it to where we can all like talk to each other to go say, hey, want to have beers tonight? Yeah, I want to have beers tonight. What are you doing tonight, Carl? I'm wearing my new Nike Cortez. And they, like he could not have seen the amounts of millions of dollars. You just don't, like at some point it evolved to that. And so if your goal is to be something that large, just keep doing what you know and you feel passionate about and you've got the right mindset about, and keep moving that forward. And you just never know. Like you just never know. But if you don't do anything, we know nothing will happen. So whatever you know is going to happen, do it. Try not to be distracted by the bullshit. And even though you can't see how big it is, don't feel like it's small. I feel like a lot of times trying to think to what does my wife think I'm doing? She must think like, what a loser, because this shit ain't paying the bills. You know what I mean? This shit ain't paying the bills. This shit ain't making me rich. Like what the fuck is he doing all day? He thinks he's so badass, and listen, Rob thinks he's so badass. I'm making up words for her. He's so dedicated, and he's such a badass, and he's so focused, and what a smart man he is, and he's an entrepreneur, and he's yielding zero fucking dollars. Like, how badass is he? Yeah, no, I'm so badass, babe. I spent the whole day, I've been grinding, making these websites, and I'm doing this thing. And she's thinking, can we buy a loaf of bread with that? Well, no. So like in their head, you look like you're doing shit, but they're not thinking that either. But and that's what's in your head. But you have to keep moving that forward. You have to know my vision isn't what's yielding right now. For instance, like my brother-in-law's just got 90G in a $90,000 job, and in my head it puts like pressure on me. Like my wife's like, Zach just made he just got paid. He's basically making about 100,000 in his new job. And for me, I'm just thinking, I feel like a loser because to her, she thinks that's greatness, right? And I have to tell myself, even though that pressure's on you to because you're being compared now, uh, for whatever that is, and maybe you're not being compared, but I feel that way. You can't let that get to you. You have to keep going with what you know and what you're passionate about. And remember, the game isn't. Nobody took a guy who's running a 100 mile. It's called an ultra marathon, not 26 point fucking 2 or whatever that is. 100 miles, 24-hour running. Nobody looks at those people at mile 25 and says, they're losers. They haven't made it to the end yet because they're going, who gives a fuck? The race is 100 miles. It's 24 hours. In fact, David Goggins finishes this race in 18 hours, finishes it 6 hours early. He hits the 100-mile mark 6 hours earlier than the race. When he calls the guy to get into this big race that he was trying to get in, the guy goes, that's good that you made it 6 hours early. He goes, but it's not called a 24-hour race for nothing. He goes, just because you hit the 100 miles, you're supposed to run for 24 hours. It's a 24-hour race. So I'm not impressed. Even though he hit the 100-mile mark. In fact, he hit 101 miles. But because he was not sure if he was on that lap, so he said, fuck it, I'm doing another mile. 101 miles. Anyway, crazy as fuck. Only trained for it for 3 days. Did like craziest shit ever. He bought himself a bag of Ritz crackers, a bottle of water, and fucking couple Mileplex shakes, and ran 100 fucking miles off that shit. That's the most crazy shit I ever heard. But anyway, the bottom line is, this is a marathon, right? So it's not about what you're yielding now as far as results. It's about sticking with what the fuck you know. Again, you look at the trillionaire right now, Jeff Bezos. He spent 30 years trying to get there. 30 years. Nobody hit him at 15 and said, you're a fucking loser. You know, you've only made 30,000 a year at this. You know what I mean? No one did that. You know what I mean? And if they did, they're fucking eating their words now. You know what I mean? This guy's not at $1 trillion yet. He's not at a billion. He's not even at a billion. He's not even at making good wages. 10 years in. But he kept going 10 years and evolves and evolves and evolves. And then next thing you know, it starts to pick up, and that's the same thing with everybody, man, and everything you do. It's just like, you can't let the distractions fuck you up and steer you from what you're doing, because you'll ask yourself, well, what results am I getting? Well, nobody got the results in fucking 2 months, a year, 2 years, or everybody would do it. If it only took 2 years to blow the fuck up and make that bread, and what you see would make you feel good about yourself, and achieve dreams. Nobody achieves a dream in 2 years. So think about that. It's a dream. It doesn't only take 2 years to achieve a dream. A dream is a lifetime. It's your lifetime's dream, not your 2-year dream.
These podcasts are a perfect example. We're doing these podcasts and no one's watching.
Yeah, that's why I'm cussing so much. I started thinking, man, we're gonna demonetize. I'm like, well, we're not even monetized yet, but we can't even get monetized because we're cussing. Cussing will take away the monetization. But I'm like, fuck it, nobody's watching this shit anyhow. But you start thinking about it, but it's like, we're doing them now, knowing nobody's watching, knowing at some point.
We have no idea. We know why we started it, but we have no idea where this is going. This is a perfect example to later be down the road, be like, well, we started with our conversations and now it turned into, whatever. But I tell you right now, I can't see at all where these are going.
Oh, I can. See, so get this, Will. These are the only thing I can see the path of how they work out. Everything else I'm doing in my life, I'm going.
Let me know what you see.
I could break down the business plan and everything out of this. My thing is with like everything else I'm doing, I'm going, being done a lot, so I'm kind of like just doing it because I'm going, well, that's a lot better than watching Netflix, so my thing is it's a lot more, and it's a lot more than I was doing before. So as far as making it real, everything I'm doing now is a lot more than I was before. Sure, I always made beats and sure I always made music, but it never got out. You know what I mean? It never got out. I produced for Snoop Dogg's Uncles and I have 70 fucking songs and we never put them out. So the same thing is, I'm doing a lot more because now I'm making them exist to where people can actually touch them and they can grow their own legs and do something, and create a realization or a reality of their own. And so with like the podcast, like for me, I it's just something I can see how it turns into being something bigger. But but at the same time, we don't know that they're going to stick or they're going to actually work. I see how the podcast works and how that business piece works, but for me, it's like we don't know. We're just doing. We think we're adding value, and on the record, we have dope conversations, and we just think they should be documented. And we have dope conversations, and whether anybody gives a fuck or not, we really truly don't give a fuck because we got 17 other things happening. So the thing is, if nobody likes it and it's just me and my homie talking, cool. That's all that matters. We talked for fucking an hour before we even got on this bitch. So
I was just gonna say, you guys
like
don't even know.
so, and we almost didn't even fucking press the fucking stream button. Like, because that's how much we give a fuck. We just think that, hey, we've got some cool ass conversations, and we've thought that since day one, way back. Hey man, TDS days, the dope shit. Like way back with Casey Mill. And we thought, man,
Yeah.
we have some dope conversations. We need to be documenting these shit. So we've always told like people would want to know what we're talking about because we have like the coolest fucking conversations. And now it's like we feel like our old conversations were dope from a philosophy kind of like angle aspect. Like we had angle on the props and like what to wear and how that would be dope. And it was more of a take on things as opposed to now it is a take our take on things may have only added value from somebody in a style aspect or a mindset aspect from being chill and cool, but now our conversations uh, have a ton of value in the sense of maybe helping you impact and go forward in what you're trying to achieve in your dream, and what it is you're doing on the day to day, whatever your goals and aspirations are, as well as in the future resources and things you can actually source to actually apply in your life and kind of help you on your journey. You know what I mean? Stupid sources that you don't even realize. Like I have a big ass book. It's full of Lamborghinis, and it's day one of Lamborghini and how he did it. Just so I can look at them and really feel like, man, I could see myself in one of them motherfuckers. Like for me, that's a picture of hey, I fucking made it. Because if I got enough money to piss away on a fucking $500,000 car, doing pretty good. Because I ain't spending $500,000 on a car unless I'm fucking already straight everywhere else. And maybe some fucking stock dividend is paying that whole car off. To where it doesn't even fuck with me. Um, as opposed to it being all my money. But it's crazy. So a lot of it while we're talking distraction today is basically you have a goal, you're applying this information to achieving a goal, but you can easily get off of all this good information because you take in shit information from watching TV, watching the news, listening to friends and family, hanging out with fucking friends and family, uh, just distractions, hanging out with your girlfriend, she just got or boyfriend, whatever, and they just talking about nothing ass shit. You know, if they ain't got nothing, they tell them to go get a hobby, and then get on your shit. Like for me, what's freed me up a lot is my wife's she's starting her own new salon, so I'm fucking hella busy like doing my shit. She's hella busy writing business plans to give to the landlord of this property and do all this other shit. So I'm like, I'm helping her on all that stuff, but at the same time, it's like cool. So you're gonna be occupied and I'm gonna be occupied. Now I got all the time in the world to do what I need to do, you know what I mean? But it's a big thing to watch out for distraction. We should have said something in the title like, you know, watch for distractions, understand or be wary of or understand when that's happening and be cognizant to like, oh shit, this is a distraction. I've got to fucking weed this out and stay fucking back to the plan, like Will was able to do. It fucked him up. He's about to move out of the country kind of shit. and then he goes, "Oh shit, this is taking me from what I'm trying to do." You know, whether Florida's coming or not, you still need to stay on your shit because that could be another 100 million years. You know, people were saying,
Yeah.
people were saying the same shit in Y2K. Oh fuck, shut it down. The world's ending. All the computers are gonna shut everything down. It's like distraction, distraction, distraction. Meanwhile, Jeff Bezos became a trillionaire between that time and now. Since 2000 to now. Think about it. A trillion.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't even really internet like that back then. And Jeff Bezos made a trillion in 20 years. A trillion. Meanwhile, we were fucking sidetracked by the computers shutting down in 2020. Or sorry, 2000. You know, listening to fucking the Prince 1999 and shit. You know,
Yeah. Another good podcast.
hell yeah. So fuck a distraction, and that's it. You know. All right, guys, we're gonna sign out on this
Yes.
podcast.
Another good one. Another good one.
Don't be
I love
distracted.
these. Like I keep saying, these are huge for me. These conversations, it gets me just talking about this again, just reinforces my week and what I've realized, getting some of this stuff out. I'm also just staying on the course, and well, I'll be talking to the only really person, the homie I talk to.
The
you
one,
know,
right?
yeah. I mean, honestly. So, yeah, but with people that eventually tuning in here, man, we really appreciate you catching up on all the videos, and I hope they're helping you elevate your life in the way that you're doing what you want to do.
And comment on what you want us to talk about because we could really chop it up on any concept. You know,
Yeah,
if you want to. I understand it's early in the game, but you know, you might be watching this 2 years from now in 2022. You know, or probably 2023. Now we're almost end of the year now, and you know, a lot of this shit is irrelevant on the COVID angle of it, but in 2 years from now. But at the same time, you can still comment and say, "Yo, I'd like to hear you guys talk about this," you know, and whatever that is. In 2 years, you probably really need to know what the fuck you want to hear. You know what I mean?
right.
2 years, you've been talking
Yeah,
about everything you can talk about, right? Although, you know, I noticed myself in the background letting like Joe Rogan's podcast play for a little bit or a lot of it because it's hours and hours of work that I'm doing. And I mean, they're just talking about nothing as shit. You know what I mean? They're like,
right.
they're like, what if UFOs are real? And you don't know, like they come down and like they can talk to us and like they're talking to us, but their mouths aren't moving, but they're talking to us and we can understand them because their minds know how to speak our language because they're so advanced. And but they're just talking about nothing. And then they're talking about like, oh, check out this like grasshopper that ate a whole carrot. You know, and it's like a 4 pound grasshopper, and it's eating a full size carrot and shit. And it's just they're just like the point is that they just chop it up about crazy shit. You know, and so realistically, it could be anything. You know,
Yeah.
but all right.